Hi guys, welcome. Hope you're all doing good. Today, let us look at some of the important issues on the 19th and 20th of January. Yesterday, I purposely did not release any video as there was no any important UPSC relevant issue that had happened. Okay, so on those days, I usually will club the 2 days of issues and try to give you the video in one go. So that is the reason on 19th of January you couldn't see the video. So there was just one issue. So that issue I will try to add it on today's video itself and give it to you as a whole. Okay. So with that, let us get on with the issues on 19th and 20th January 2024. The first issue is, how do you plan to save the Great Indian Bustard? The Supreme Court asks the government. Okay. The court said that the government's plan to maintain a balance between preservation of the bird species and India's global commitments to shed its carbon footprints and embrace alternative forms of energy such as solar power. Okay. So before we get into the aspects of what exactly is the important points revolving Great Indian Bustard, you should first remember, or you should first try to have clarity of what is this issue that is happening. Okay, so basically what the Supreme Court is trying to tell is, it is asking the center, or it is asking the central government's view on how it will balance. Okay, on how it will balance on one side preservation of Great Indian Bustard, okay, and on the other side India's solar mission. Okay, so this is exactly what the Supreme Court is asking. How is it that the central government is going to balance the preservation of Great Indian Bustard as well as India's solar mission? Now, the next question is, why is it that the center is asking, why is it that the Supreme Court is asking the center this question? The reason is because in Rajasthan and Gujarat, okay, in Rajasthan and Gujarat, there is death of Great Indian Bustards. And this death is happening because they are coming in collision with high transmission lines. They are coming in collision with the high transmission lines that are laid out from the solar plants. So these Great Indian Bustards, because these Great Indian Bustards are the heaviest birds in the planet. These are the heaviest birds in the planets. Okay, and they are the largest in size also. So because they are largest in size, they usually cannot escape the high transmission lines. So because these high transmission lines are used to evacuate energy from the solar plants, these birds are coming in contact with these high transmission lines, and when they come in contact with these high transmission lines, they are getting electrocuted. That is resulting in the death of the Great Indian Bustards. Okay, so this is the entire issue that is happening. There has been huge uproar on this because a lot of Great Indian Bustards are dying because of this problem. Now, the point is, India has a very progressive as well as a very ambitious targets regarding its solar mission. So India cannot reduce the progress that has been done in the solar mission. However, India must make sure that, or the central government should make sure that the death of Great Indian Bustards should not be, or should not take place at the cost of solar mission. Okay, so what is the solution then? The solution is twofold. One, the solution is we need to go for underground high transmission lines. Okay, we need to go for underground high transmission lines, and wherever high transmission lines are already laid, in these high transmission lines we need something called bird diverters. Okay, we need bird diverters. Okay, so these are the twofold solution that can help resolve this issue. Alright, so this is overall from the mains angle. Now, if I take what the issue from the prelims angle, if I take the Great Indian Bustard, the things that you should know from Great Indian Bustard are, okay, one, it is the state bird of Rajasthan. Okay, the second is IUCN, International Union on the Conservation of Nature. This has given the status of Great Indian Bustard as critically endangered. It has given the status as critically endangered. Next one, it is a flagship grassland species. It is not found in forest. It is a flagship grassland species. That is why it is mainly found in semi-arid areas. Okay. The next is, it is mainly found in Rajasthan and Gujarat. Okay. However, small population of this particular bird is also found in Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Okay. The next is, this bird is protected under Wildlife Protection Act 1972. In this, it comes under Schedule 1. The next is CITES, Convention on International Trade on Endangered Species. In this also, it comes under Appendix 1. Okay, and then CMS, Conservation of Migratory Species of Birds. In this also, it comes under Appendix 1. Okay, so in all the three, it is having a high status of protection. Okay, the next is, because it was critically endangered, this species was kept under Species Recovery Program. It was kept under Species Recovery Program. You might have heard this Species Recovery Program. It is known as Integrated Development of Wildlife Habitat under MOEFCC. Okay, so this Great Indian Bustard was put under the Species Recovery Program, where breeding is done, and this breeding is done under this program called Integrated Development of Wildlife Habitats. Okay, and this comes under MOEFCC, and this under this the breeding facility for these Great Indian Bustards were set up in Desert National Park. It was set up in Desert National Park in Rajasthan. Okay, so this is the background regarding the Great Indian Bustard. As I told you, they are the heaviest. They are the heaviest birds to fly. Okay, so overall, this is the background of the Great Indian Bustard. Now, because we are studying from prelims point of view, you have to understand, or you have to have some knowledge about the Desert National Park. Any national park is in news, try to develop some background about that national park. Like, for example, now let me just show you how to go about the some information that you can collect regarding a national park. So, since we are studying Great Indian Bustard, which is being having a breeding facility in Desert National Park, let me take Desert National Park. So, this Desert National Park is in Rajasthan. It is shared along two districts, and the names of the districts are Jaisalmer and Balmer. Okay. The next is, it was known as World Heritage Site, or it was declared as World Heritage Site in 1980. The next is, it became a national park in 1992. Okay. Now, in Desert National Park, what are the important species that are found? So, if you take, one is Great Indian Bustard, which is known as the state bird of Rajasthan. Okay, that is there. The next is Chinkari. This is known as the state animal of Rajasthan. The next is Kejri. This is known as the state tree of Rajasthan. And the next is Rohida. This is the state flower of Rajasthan. So, in this Desert National Park, you are able to find all the four Great Indian Bustard, Chinkari, the Kejri and Rohida. Okay. Now, these are some of the factual dimensions. These are some of the factual dimensions that you need to cover in the national parks that can help you in your prelims exam. So, I hope you got an idea of how to go about your prelims preparation. Just because there was just one news that said that, how do you plan to save Great Indian Bustard? This is how you have to go on some level of research to make sure that you learn what is happening. The second is about the bird, and the third is the Desert National Park, because that was decided as the breeding facility for the Great Indian Bustard. Okay, so I hope this was helpful from the mains as well as prelims perspective. Let us go on to the next issue of the day. The next issue of the day is Rahul Gandhi visits over 350-year-old Vaishnavite monastery in Assam's Majuli Island. Okay, again, the political aspects of this particular news is not important to a UPSC aspirant. The reason why this becomes important is this Vaishnavite monastery, okay, in Assam's Majuli Island. Alright, so that is where you have to understand that there is some cultural significance and you have to get an idea of that. Okay, now the first is this Vaishnavite monastery is known as Satras. It is known as Satras, or in the internet they also call it as Satras. Okay, both different spellings are there. Assam's Majuli Island is a riverine island. Okay, Assam's Majuli Island is a riverine island, and this riverine island is formed because of Brahmaputra's braided channel. Okay, Brahmaputra's braided channel. So this Brahmaputra's braided channel creates riverine island, and one such island is known as Majuli Island. Okay, it is the world's largest riverine island, and this Majuli Island is also very famous for Vaishnavism. It is very famous for Vaishnavism. Okay, and if you take Northeast India, okay, Northeast India, Vaishnavism started to spread. In Northeast India, Vaishnavism started to spread in the period of 15th to 16th century. In the period of 15th to 16th century, under a famous saint, under the famous saint called Sankara Deva. Under the famous saint called Sankara Deva, and under his, under his guidance, there were monasteries that were built in Assam, and these monasteries were given the name Satras or Satras. Okay, both the spellings. So I hope you got the background of what I am talking about. So now let us dwell a little bit more about Satras. Okay, so if I take Satras, as you know, they are nothing but institutional centers. They are institutional centers or monasteries of Vaishnavism. They are monasteries of Vaishnavism. The second is they help proponent, or they are proponents of Ekasarana tradition. Ekasarana tradition of Vaishnavism. This is a special type of Vaishnavism that was popularized in Northeast India by Sankara Deva. Okay, Ekasarana tradition of Vaishnavism. As I told you, this started in 15th and 16th century. Okay, the next is the main proponent, as I told you, were the kings, the Koch kingdom that was there, Koch, the Koch kingdom that was first there, and the later proponents were Ahom kingdom. Okay, the first were the Koch kingdom, and the second proponents were Ahom kingdom. So these were the patrons. Okay, and as I told you, the important saint who helped popularization of Vaishnavism was Shankara Deva. Okay, he helped popularize Neo-Vaishnavite culture. He helped popularize Neo-Vaishnavite culture. Okay, now every Satra or a monastery will have a prayer hall. Okay, and that prayer hall is called as Namgar. Every Satra or monastery will have a prayer hall. That prayer hall is known as Namgar. Okay, now they worship, either they worship an idol of Vishnu, or they also worship Bhagavata Purana manuscript. There can be an idol of Vaishnavism or Vishnu, or there can also be a manuscript of Bhagavata Purana. So that is what is there in the Sanctum Sanctorum. Okay, so this is one more information. Alright, now in the prayer hall they also perform a theatre. In the prayer hall they also perform a theatre, and this theatre is known as Bhaona. This is a very, very famous theatre. They can ask you even in your exams. So this Satras usually are Vaishnavite centers where they perform a theatre in the Namgats, that is the prayer halls, that is known as Bhaona. Okay. Now, let me talk about Bhaona. Okay, as I told you, Bhaona is a theatre. Okay, and it is a traditional folk theatre. Okay, it's a traditional folk theatre. So here there is entertainment is less and religious messages is more. Okay, entertainment is less, religious messages is more. Okay, as I told you, they are staged in Namgats. Okay, they are staged in the prayer hall called Namgats. Okay, and in this theatre there is a very famous part that is known as, in this Bhaona there is a very famous art that is known as Ankia Nat. Okay, Ankia Nat basically means one act plays. So within this theatre there is a special form called Ankia Nat that is known as one act plays. Okay, again this was created by Sankaradeva. This was also created by Sankaradeva. Alright, so this is what is Bhaona. And in this Bhaona, from this Bhaona came one type of a dance. A dance evolved from this theatre. Before they were doing inside this theatre, but then a dance has evolved from this theatre, and that dance is known as Sattriya dance. As you people know, in the year 2000, it was this Sattriya became one of the 8 classical dances of India. Okay, Sattriya became one of the 8 classical dances of India. Again, Sattriya dance has rules, and again it is mainly religious in nature. The dance is mainly religious, and the dance is done by the monks. Okay, the next is the performance is related to Krishna, or it can be other forms of Vishnu like Rama. Okay, and it can also be on the epics of Mahabharata and Ramayana. Okay, so these are some information that you should know about the Satras. So basically you got to know what are Satras, what is Bhaona, a theatre art form, and what is this Indian classical dance, Sattriya. Okay, all this belongs to the Neo-Vaishnavite movement. All this belongs to the Neo-Vaishnavite movement that was started by the Saint Sankaradeva in 15th and 16th century, that led to the spread of Vaishnavism in northeast India, which today is very, very famous for its cultural significance. Okay, so I hope you got the background of this information. So this is how you have to extract the information from prelims point of view. So I hope this was helpful. The next issue is Indian Meteorological Department celebrates 150th year of its establishment and service to the nation. Okay, so basically Indian Meteorological Department is a very underestimated department, because you don't look at this department with so much of glory as the other departments like ISRO. However, it has been as famous as ISRO in its service to the nation. Okay, it is as famous as ISRO in its service to the nation. So basically it is 150 years of its establishment or foundation. 150th year of its establishment or foundation. That is, it was formed in 15th of January 1875. It was formed in 15th of January 1875. So that is why we are celebrating 150 years of its establishment or foundation. Okay, so any organization that has been there that is celebrating 150th, 200 or 100th year, you have to have some information regarding that, because questions can come from that from both prelims as well as mains. Okay, now let me extract some information that can be helpful for your exam. First, if you take IMD, that is Indian Meteorological Department, this is an agency. It is an agency under Ministry of Earth Sciences. It is an agency under Ministry of Earth Sciences. You will get confused that it comes under Ministry of Environment. It is wrong. It is Ministry of Earth Sciences. The next is, it is a principal agency. What are its objectives? One, its objective is meteorological observations. As you know, meteorology is the study of weather conditions. So meteorological observations is the first. The second is weather forecasting. The next is forecasting the weather. The third is what is interesting, that is it also takes care of seismology. That is, it takes care of earthquake monitoring and measurements. So it is the same Indian Meteorological Department that also takes care of seismology. And the last is the early warning system regarding tropical cyclone. Okay, so basically these are the four important jobs of Indian Meteorological Department. One is the meteorological observations. For example, it can observe monsoons. It can give warnings regarding rainfall during monsoons. It can also give warning regarding droughts because of the failure of monsoon. So all these are meteorological observation. As you know, by observing, they can also forecast whether there will be surplus rainfall or whether there will be droughts. The next is seismology. That is, it studies seismic waves, and by studying seismic waves, it can monitor earthquakes as well as measure any energy or magnitude of the earthquake. The next is, it is also in charge of the early warning system regarding tropical cyclones. Okay, so these are the broader objectives of IMD. Okay, so IMD became a member of WMO, that is the World Meteorological Department, in 1949. Okay, and it is one of the six worldwide regional specialized meteorological centers. It is one of the six worldwide regional specialized meteorological centers, okay, for tropical cyclone program, of World Weather Watch. Okay, so under this World Weather Watch, there is a program called Tropical Cyclone Program. So under this, there are 6 centers, and IMD is one of the 6 centers, regionally specialized meteorological centers for Tropical Cyclone Program of the World Weather Watch. This World Weather Watch is under WMO. Okay, so under WMO you have World Weather Watch, and within World Weather Watch you have Tropical Cyclone Program, and for this Tropical Cyclone Program they have set up 6 centers, and one such center belongs to Indian Meteorological Department. Okay, and because it is one of the regional specialized meteorological centers, and it gets the responsibility to forecast as well as name and disseminate. Okay, it can forecast, name and disseminate warnings for tropical cyclones. Okay, it can forecast, name, disseminate warnings for tropical cyclones in North Indian Ocean. Okay, that's why it's called regional. The region that it is in charge is this North Indian Ocean. So in the North Indian Ocean, it has the responsibility to forecast, to name as well as disseminate warnings regarding tropical cyclones. Now this North Indian Ocean will include Malacca Strait also. I am telling all the strategic areas. It includes Malacca Strait. It includes Bay of Bengal. It includes Arabian Sea. It also includes the Persian Gulf. See, all this put together is what is the North Indian Ocean. So in entire North Indian Ocean, the responsibility of forecast, naming, disseminating warning are under the responsibility of the Indian Meteorological Department. Okay, now the Indian Meteorological Department, if you take them, this Indian Meteorological Department is also in charge of lightning alert, and it has come up with the app that is known as Damini app. This basically provides lightning alert. As you know, recently there has been a lot of deaths, especially in Gujarat, with respect to lightning. So this also has become very important. Okay, now once you are done with this, we are mainly talking about meteorology. So it is always incumbent upon you as a student to go to the Indian Meteorological Department website and just check the About Us page. When you just check the About Us page, it has given about the history of meteorology in India. It is given about the history of meteorology in India. So taking this history, you should try to make some points. So what are the points that I found from that particular website is, if you take the history of meteorology in India from Upanishads, In Upanishads, they are mentioned about cloud formation. In Upanishads, they are mentioned about cloud formation. The second is Kautilya's Arthashastra. Kautilya's Arthashastra mentions or it records scientific measurements of rainfall. It records scientific measurements of rainfall. Okay. The next is Meghaduta. Meghaduta of Kalidasa. Meghaduta of Kalidasa. Okay. Which is again a masterpiece. It mentions the date of onset of monsoons. It shows the date of onset of monsoons. The next is Asiatic Society of Bengal. Asiatic Society of Bengal, that was formed in 1784. Okay, this also promoted the scientific study of meteorology. It also promoted the scientific study of meteorology. And finally, in 1875, the Britishers established Indian Meteorological Department in order for mainly assessing monsoons as well as developing early warning system for tropical cyclones. Mainly for these two reasons, the Britishers were forced, because see, agricultural production in turn decided the revenue that the Britishers get. So they wanted an organization that can predict monsoons. The next is tropical cyclones was creating a lot of devastation in Kolkata. That was creating a lot of expenditure. So because of these two reasons, the Britishers were forced to establish the Indian Meteorological Department in 1875, and the first Director General of this Indian Meteorological Department, or first Director General of Observatories, what we call them, first Director General of Observatories was Sir John Elliot. Okay, it was Sir John Elliot. He was the first Director General of Observatories. Alright, this was in 1875. So overall, this is the information regarding IMD. This is how you have to collect the information regarding IMD, because it has been 150 years with the formation of Indian Meteorological Department. So I hope this issue was helpful, and this is again, I'm again trying to tell you that this is how you have to develop factual dimensions. This is how you have to develop factual dimensions on different topics that can help you for your prelims exam. Okay, so let us move on to the next issue of the day. The next issue of the day is Lachit Borphukan. Okay, this particular personality is in news because there was a book that was released in the state of Assam, and this book has become very famous, and this book has undergone translations in 23 languages. So this book is not important, but the book is mainly about this personality. Okay, so that personality's name is Lachit Borphukan. So the moment you understand that this person is a personality that is a war hero in medieval India, this person is known as, or is considered as, a war hero in medieval India. So that means the questions are very high. There are very high chances that the question can come. Okay. So now, who is this person? Lachit Borphukan is a commander-in-chief of the Ahom Kingdom Army. He is the commander-in-chief of the Ahom Kingdom Army. Okay, and he is very famous for the victory. He is very famous for the victory of Battle of Sattriya. He is very famous for the victory of Battle of Sattriya, 1671. Okay. Now, as the headlines itself will tell, he is the forgotten hero of Ahom Kingdom who prevented Mughal invasion in Assam 17 times. Okay, he prevented the Mughal invasion 17 times. So this era was the time of Aurangzeb. As you know, Aurangzeb wanted to spread his empire into northeast India. At that time, there were Ahoms in northeast India. So there was a tussle between Ahoms versus Mughals. And one such famous battle between Ahoms and Mughals was the Battle of Sattriya. Okay, now let's discuss about this Battle of Sattriya. But before that, the information that we get about this war hero is mainly from Buranges. The information we get from about this war hero is in Buranges. What is Buranges? Okay, so if you take Buranges, Buranjis, if you take Buranges, okay, now this Buranges is nothing but a historical chronicle. It is an historical chronicle, okay, and it is also acting as a manuscript. It's an historical chronicle and manuscript. It talks about the events that happened in Ahom kingdom. It talks about the events that happened in Ahom kingdom. First, it was written in Ahom language, and then it evolved to be written in Assamese language. So it is both in Ahom language as well as Assamese language. Okay, and it is in this Buranges, that is the collection of work about Ahom events, Ahom kingdom. You have also the mention of Lachit, Borphukan. Okay, this is here that you get the information about this war hero. Okay, as you know that the famous battle of this Battle of Sattriya. Let us get some information about this Battle of Sattriya. Okay, so this battle took place in 1671. This is a naval battle. That is what is interesting. It's a naval battle. It happened in the river of Brahmaputra. It happened in the river of Brahmaputra. The next is, it was against Ahoms versus Mughals. The Ahom kingdom was represented by the war hero Lachit Borphukan. Okay, and in the Mughals, the side of Aurangzeb was represented by Ram Singh. Ram Singh represented the Mughals. So the Ahom versus Mughals, it was Lachit Borphukan was the commander-in-chief of the Ahom army, and the Ram Singh who represented the Mughals. Okay, so this resulted in the victory of Ahoms. Okay, now the reason why this battle took place was because of the harsh conditions. This took place because of the harsh conditions that was laid upon by the Treaty of Gilaj Harigat. In this treaty, there were harsh conditions that were laid by the Mughals on the Ahoms, and as a retaliation, there was a battle of Sattriya that took place, which is a naval battle in the river of Brahmaputra, where the Ahoms won. Okay, actually, this battle is very famous because the Ahoms were actually the underdogs. They defeated Mughals. Because of psychological warfare. So what they did is, they tried to show that they were weak, and they started inviting the Mughals more inside towards their area, wherein they became very strong because there were a lot of water which the Mughals were not very familiar with, and they also started using this water to then have a guerrilla warfare. Okay, so this guerrilla warfare helped them, and this water, Brahmaputra river, also helped them. In that way, they waged a psychological warfare to defeat the almighty Mughals, though the Ahoms were not that very strong. Hence, this Battle of Sattriya is a very famous naval battle in the history of medieval India, and Lachit Borphukan is a person who was a war hero, who was the commander-in-chief of the Ahom army. Okay, so this is the overall aspect of this particular war hero and medieval India. Because medieval India is also very important for your prelims, you should know about this. Let us go on to the last issue. The last issue is the babies branded with hot bangles. This is a case study of superstitions leading to death. Okay, this is a case study of superstitions leading to death. Okay, as you can see here, 4 infants between birth and 4 months died across a month in Madhya Pradesh eastern districts. Okay, so basically what they are trying to tell is 4 infants died because of a superstitious practice. Because of a superstitious practice. And that superstitious practice is given the name of Daagna. Daagna means branding. Okay, so it is a practice that is performed in Madhya Pradesh by a few tribes, and the tribes are Kol and Gond. They practice this particular something called Daagna. Okay, so what is this Daagna or branding? Okay, let me come to this point. What is Daagna or branding? Okay, so Daagna or branding is basically having odd, broken bangles. You have odd broken bangles, or you have odd iron sickles. So using this odd broken bangles or iron sickles, you try to make burn marks. You try to make burn marks on child's forehead or chest or abdomen. So basically it's a belief that by doing this, by burning with the odd bangle or iron sickle, you are providing shock treatment, and by providing this shock treatment, you are going to improve the immunity of the child. You are going to improve the immunity of the child. Okay, so this is the superstitious belief, and this has no scientific backing, and this particular Daagna or branding that is practiced in this part has led to the 4 infants dying. This shows the case study of superstition leading to death, and this you can make a note that you can use in your case studies. Okay, now the point is, one, obviously you can use this in your ethics paper, okay, in your ethics theory. The second is, the point is, I want you to develop a thinking mind. So you develop that. How would you, being, let us say that you are a district magistrate, okay, and you as a district magistrate, what are the measures that you will take, both short term as well as long term? Okay, what are the measures that you will take in order to end such superstitious belief? You don't have to confine yourself only to this so-called Daagna, but in general, if your district has high levels of superstitious belief, then what is it that you can do that can help mitigate this belief of superstition that has come for several generations together? So believe that. You cannot just spread messages and try to remove that belief. If you have to beat that belief, you have to give another belief to the people. Don't forget that. So this is how you have to think. In your case studies, when they tell you if you are a district magistrate and what would you do, you just always will think of legal measures to take, and you will always think of some technology to use to disseminate the message. That is, you will say that I will visit that places, I will talk to them. Instead of bringing one, either you will make it very generic or you will either make it very complex. Okay, in between is where you have to make it very pragmatic. So this is where the thinking mind helps. So one, you can make a note of this case study. However, you can also think what can be done from the what can be done from the lines of law, what can be done from the lines of rationality, what can be done from the lines of belief. How can you change the belief of the people? Okay, by giving them another belief. Okay, and what can be done from the perspective of emotions, because there is children. If there are children, there is mother. So what can be done on the lines of emotions? These are different ways to think how you can become an effective person in seeking a solution to this problem. Okay, so think about this case study whenever you have free time. However, this is a case study of superstition that is leading to deaths in India. Okay, so these were some of the important issues of the day. So if you have enjoyed this video, please make sure that you like, share and subscribe. Okay, thank you so much guys for all the love and support. So if we miss on any day, we are not missing it in reality, we are actually missing it because there were no issues on that day. So we will just club that on the next day and leave it to you. So please don't have any type of concern, no concerns. Okay, we'll always be consistent. You don't have to worry about it. The only thing is, you people tune in, enjoy the video, but don't forget to like, share and subscribe, because as I keep telling you, the more the viewers, the greater the incentives for us to keep doing this on a regular basis. But don't have any concerns regarding the consistency, we'll maintain that. Alright, with that, I'm going to see you on Monday, guys. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.